Hello, good day. Good day, everyone. This is my first live and I'm excited about it. I really wanted to just take the time to talk about life, and it's very important that we go there because it's time for us to recognize the reality that we're in and understand that this reality is very important for us to understand that we have control over the next move, the next moment of our lives. And we got to stop allowing other people and situations to control how our life turned out. Because if you take a moment and you step back and you just really just take a moment, you will really realize that most of your life is based on other people. It's based on other people's attitude. It's based on how they view you. It's based on how they feel about you. And a lot of times it really comes down to the test of you understanding who you are. See, we allow people to treat us certain ways. We allow people opinion to affect us. That's why they continue to make opinions about us. That's why they're able to continue to disrespect us. It's because we haven't found who we are. The best thing that I have learned so far is to trust in God. And when you trust in God, God is going to take you on a journey. God is going to take you on a journey to discover truth. And that's the most powerful part about all of this is when God starts showing you the truth and the light, then you will eventually see the fakeness, the darkness, the wickedness that's in other people's heart. Another thing God showed me too is that a lot of people are vessels. A lot of people don't know that they being controlled by an energy or a spirit. And they go off the emotions and feelings based on the energy that's invested in them. When you realize that you are a child of God and you walk and you talk a certain way, you will begin to recognize the difference between the way of life that God intended for you to have it, and then you will see the other side in which the devil or that negative energy is trying to promote you or to living the way it's trying to get you to live. And that's usually through fear. It's usually through fear. So the first thing I say to people is discover who you are. Realize that you have the power inside of you to bring change to this world. When God brought you into this world and this reality, He wanted you to feel the emotions and the reality of the world for you to evolve above it and then give the world something greater than what you came into the world as based on what it was before you got here. That's why our parents, we can't choose our parents. Most of us fall into families that are toxic. A lot of us is dealing with abandonment issues. A lot of us is dealing with lack of trust, where people didn't trust in us, where people didn't feed us the quality of life that we needed to build a foundation for us to understand how to build a foundation to build our life off of. A lot of us was born into quicksand. A lot of you was born into quicksand and you found your way out of the quicksand and learning how to build a foundation where you have a foundation that's steady and worthy of building something off of. See, everyone like to pray, but nobody look at the prayers being answered. The prayers are being answered through us. That's why God said, I gave my only begotten son. That son is you. That sun is all of us that brings the change in when we be true to ourselves. When we be true to us and our hearts and stop allowing vessels that's out here that's basically allowing demonic spirits to join them to create this reality for us. When we take control and we know that the power of God is invested in us and that God is sitting back watching us to see what we would do because we have what it takes. You get what I'm saying? That's the difference. That's the ability of God that's created in us. We like to say God can do all things. But when it comes to us, it's like we feel that God wasn't able to do all things through us. See, the whole point of attack is identity. It's to steal your identity away from God, to steal your connection to the Creator, to put the Creator outside of you to be everything that you desire or need and begging for, when really the creator is connected through you, is going to work and perform through you. So if you was born into like these toxic households, if you was born into these toxic families, all they do is talk about you, put you down, bring negativity into your life. You was chosen. You are the chosen one that had to come in and start on the level as them to evolve outside of that, so that way they can see how you did it, because you coming with the same blood, the same daddy, the same mama, but it's some about you that evolved above it. Then you are showing them the blueprint of how God wants them to change their lives. If you don't do it, then who will? If you don't show it, then who will? Everybody's waiting for God to just open up the sky and fall down here and start teaching. God is going to teach through you and I. Why do you think when they say, when Yahshua come, they said everything's going to split in the world? That sounds like disaster. That's because we haven't done enough to show that God is true. We are the representatives of heaven. The wisdom of God is formulated through us. That's the difference. That's the change. That's the ability of God through us. We got to stop looking outside of ourselves to be saved. God is saving us through us and helping others be saved. Just like me making this video is going to have someone look at life differently. Somebody is going to stop being a victim and start taking responsibility and make changes and walk in the power of God that's invested in them. Somebody's going to stop doubting themselves and making themselves feel like they're supposed to be a slave to this world and finally step up and be the king and queen that God created them to be. Somebody's going to stop begging for mercy and realize that God already gave them everything they needed inside of them, the love inside of them. I'm not saying that we shouldn't give praise to God. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, go to church. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm basically saying is, if you truly trust God, then you're going to trust in God in you. If I am a son of my father, then I represent my father. My father is just as much involved in me as I am for myself. So that means the same way. God is involved in me. God is my creator. Then I represent his creation. When you create something, what do? You put your thoughts, it's your DNA, it's your thoughts into your creation. It's your intelligence. It's your way of thinking. It's everything about you that represent that creation. So when someone sees something that you created, it's like a different form of you. It represents your essence. It represents who you are. That's the difference. And so it's like, I just want people to know that when God created you, he created you in his essence. He created you in the way he think. So why are we not allowing ourselves to deeply allow God's way of thinking to form through us? Why are we not allowing God's ways to form through us so we can act out the way God would act through us into the world? So we are the prayers that is to be answered. If we are the children of God and we land in darkness, we are the light. So apparently we have to first adapt to the darkness, understand the darkness, go through the trials and tribulations of being in darkness, go through the dark night of the soul, be hurt, be dismantled. We have to go through all these different challenges of being in the darkness. And then eventually that God seed, that godness that's inside of you will eventually elevate above it. God won't allow you to stay in the darkness too long because all along you was the light. But you had to go through the trials and tribulations to understand that the power of the light that was inside of you, you had to recognize its power and that it's more powerful than the darkness that you was born into. And then eventually you will become the difference and you will express that light through your life. A lot of us is holding on to the past. A lot of us is holding on to our humble beginnings, holding on to things that made us feel less of a person. And we have been that less of a person ever since. But when you're an ego, eventually you soar. Eventually you soar. Eventually you soar. And the thing is, with us, is we allowing the mind to be programmed into this worldly idea of fear as if God don't exist, as if we are not children of God. It's like God put earth angels here that believing that they're not angels at all. We've been broken down and planted low where we can't sprout up and grow to the sunlight and to the light of God. We are the seeds of the Creator. We're supposed to surprise ourselves every day because the more we learn about God, we learn about ourselves. You are here to evolve. If you wasn't put here to evolve, or if you're supposed to be already evolved, let's put it that way, then why would you come here as a baby with no knowledge of anything? Why are you learning how to walk and how to eat and learning colors and alphabets and everything of the world? Because you are evolving. A baby is to evolve. If we all stay at a baby state, we'll still be grown people saying gaga goo goo. That's the difference. We are the difference of the world. The more we evolve, we see more of God in us. We meet God every day that we evolve because we coming closer to who we truly are. We going from the gaga goo goo to the reality of God's on earth because we are the children of the Most High, the creator of earth. And there are people that want to keep you as slaves so they can feel as if they're a God by keeping the creation of God at a very low control atmosphere. Don't want to see the child of God rise above it all. Don't want to see the families rise above it all, but to keep us in a dormant state of confusion. That's the difference. We are the difference. We are the change. We are the change of the world. We are the light of the world. We are the children of the Most High. And that's what's happening. God is speaking to you. God is talking to you through yourself, through your image, through your eyes, through your mind, through your heart. The DNA of God is in us. We are that DNA of God. We are that creative a masterpiece of the Creator. And we must not allow life or this world to tell us any other way. We are the difference. We are the change. We are the growth. We are everything we need to be. And just because you're in a place where you may not feel like you have enough, you must understand you are evolving. Look at yourself 5 years from here. Look at yourself how you were 10 years from here. Look at yourself today. See, that's the whole thing. That's the setup for you never to see God in yourself. For you never to see the power of God inside of you. We are here to discover God in us. We are here to understand that God is with us and God is true in our hearts. I love y'all. And you must every day motivate yourself to be great because you are. Ashe.